She stopped my advancing hand by placing her hands on mine. A strange yet beautiful sensation went through my body as she touched my hands. She stood up from the bed. The white dress she was wearing had wrinkled from laying down for so long. She stood in front of me without breaking, her head held high. Then she did something completely unexpected. Hello, welcome back, guys. We are back with a brand new chapter of our novel Obsession, chapter number 14. Let's begin. You haven't told me that. What should I do with those maroons? Michael asked as we stood leaning on the railing of the corridor outside my room. I faced my room's closed door while he looked down, and I ignored the fact that he must be staring at my sister's room like a hawk. I want them to feel the fear that my wife felt when they chased her. They should feel as though the world is going to end, but their pain will never end. I said, thinking of what my woman must be doing inside our room. Why would you give her the phone? What if she calls her parents or the police? Michael asked. I don't give a fuck about her parents. Who about money for giving my goddess? And about the police? Do you really think they are capable enough to come here without shaking in their knees? Those are a bunch of idiots. Well, if she wants, she can call the police. I don't want her to feel dejected about not being able to contact them. I said, still in a daze over how beautiful my wife looked in that red gown. I think she is slowly changing you. You started to stop using your brain, Michael said in an amused tone. For the past 30 years of my life, I have never considered my heart as anything but an organ for pumping blood. But after meeting her, I have realized that my heart has been beating all these years just to become hers. So, in matters that includes her, my mind and heart will only think and process in her favor. I said, unable to believe I was saying these things. Wow, you should step down from the position of Don and try to become a poet. I think Lucas Eva Ashwin has the potential to become a world famous poet, Michael said, chuckling at the end. If you stare at my sister's door for more than 5 seconds, I'm going to write a poem with my dagger on your not so handsome face. You brainless pest, I said without looking at him and heard him let out a shaky breath. I take back what I said earlier. You haven't changed a bit. You are still the ruthless devil everyone knows, you asshole, he said while turning to face me, and I smirked at him. With each passing second, my patience was draining. It had been about half an hour since I started waiting outside my room, giving my wife the privacy she needed to talk with whomever she wants. After letting out a heavy sigh, I opened the door to our room, only to be met with the sight of my crying wife. Panic and fear coursed through my veins as I advanced toward her. Her cheeks and nose were red as she continuously wiped the tears from her face with the back of her hands. Why are you crying, amore mio? I asked as I reached her side. As expected, she didn't reply but looked into my eyes. Hurt, anger, accusations, pain, and disappointment swirled in my favorite pair of hazel eyes. I extended my hand to wipe the tears from her face. The sight of her broken look piercing my heart as if it had been stabbed multiple times. She stopped my advancing hand by placing her hands on mine. A strange yet beautiful sensation went through my body as she touched my hands. She stood up from the bed. The white dress she was wearing had wrinkled from laying down for so long. She stood in front of me without breaking, her head held high. Then she did something completely unexpected. The sting on my left cheek confirmed that I had been slapped by my own wife. My face bent to the right from the force of her slap. Shaking my head, I turned to face her again, but was met with another slap and then another, again and again. Though the force decreased with each slap, I didn't say anything, just stood silent as she let out whatever was inside her. Why are you silent now, huh? You were asking why I was crying, right? It's you. You are the reason for my tears. You are the reason for my pain. It's all because of you, she said, trying to push me away as I took a step closer to her. But I didn't budge. She punched my chest with her tiny fist, but it didn't hurt me. What did hurt was her tears. Why did you come to India? Why did you notice an ordinary girl like me? Why did you fall in love with me? Why did you force me into marriage? Why did you bring me here? Why did you save me that night? Why did you give me so much pain? Why am I so weak? Why can't I hate you? Why do you constantly occupy my thoughts? Why did you come into my life? Why did you make me your obsession? Why? Why? Her voice turned into a mere whisper as she looked into my eyes with a defeated expression. I slowly wiped the tears from her cheeks with the pad of my thumb. I didn't understand a thing you said, Amor, but I can tell you are crying because of me. You're right. I'm the reason for all your pain and all your tears right now. But I beg you to give me a chance, a single chance, to wipe away all the sadness from your life, all those tears from your eyes, and to give you all the happiness you deserve, I said, but I still couldn't see any emotion on her face. I know, I know that you won't believe me or anything I say, but please, for once, give me a chance. A single chance to make everything right. Please, I pleaded in front of her, asking for an opportunity to make everything right. She didn't reply. Instead, she looked into my eyes, searching for the clarity she needed. Why did you fall in love with me? She asked suddenly, catching me off guard. What? I asked. Why did you fall in love with a girl like me? You could have any other girl in the world with the power and money you have. Then why me? She asked, making her questions specific. You're right. I could have any other girl in the world with the amount of money and power I have. But do I want them? No, I don't want any of them because I have eyes only for you. And to answer your question, I don't know why I fell for you. I'm telling the truth. I seriously don't know why I'm so drawn to these beautiful brown eyes of yours. I don't know why every time I look at you, I have the urge to live a little longer with you by my side. Every time I see your tears, I want to burn this whole damn world down until you are happy. And knowing the reason for your tears is me makes me to want to kill myself. Tell me why I'm feeling all these things when I've never felt anything like this in the past 30 years of my life, I asked, pouring out whatever my heart told me to. I looked at her, seeing a stunned expression on her face. I don't believe in fate. I don't believe in love, and heck, I don't believe in God. But you make me want to believe in everything once I hate it. You make me want to believe in all the good things in the world, I said, and her eyes widened a bit more before she closed them tightly. Then she opened them again, making me nervous about her next words. You realize the power you have in the most unexpected way. In an unexpected situation, I couldn't believe what he was saying. My mind was telling me not to give in to his words, but a part of my heart wanted to take a risk. For the first time in my life, someone had shown interest in me, and I couldn't ignore the genuineness I saw in those ocean blue eyes. My decisions have always been influenced by what others will think and what others will say. I became a teacher even though I wanted to pursue my passion for dance and drawing. All my life, I had lived for my family, and for the first time, I want to listen to my heart. I know the chances of disappointment are higher considering his previous deeds, but something in his eyes made me believe that he was telling the truth. Are you willing to do anything to gain my forgiveness? I asked, raising one eyebrow at him, completely ignoring the weird sensation where our skin was in contact. What? He asked, slightly stuttering. Are you willing to do anything for me? I asked again. Yes, I'll do anything, Amor. Even if I have to turn the world upside down, I'll do that for you, he said sincerely. I took a deep breath, forming words in my head before saying them out aloud. You have 6 months, I said after a moment of silence. He looked at me confused. I'm giving you 6 months to make me forgive you. And if you are not able to do that, you will let me go, I said, clearing his confusion. You are giving me a chance, he asked, unable to believe what he heard. You will let me go, even after 6 months, if I don't want to be with you, I stated, and I saw his lips form a small smile. His blue eyes softened as he smiled at me. There's no letting go of you, sweetheart, because I'm going to do everything in my power to make you happy, to make you feel at home, and you are not going to get rid of me anytime soon. He said like it was a promise, and I'm going to do everything in me to make you regret marrying me. I thought, let's see that. I said, my tone is challenging. I never knew that I could be this courageous in front of anyone, to the point that I'm challenging them. But this man brings out a side of me that I didn't know even existed. You will see, darling, because it's a deal with your devil, my love, he said, smirking at the last part, which I didn't understand. I cannot believe that you really did give him a chance, Angelina exclaimed in excitement as she sat on my bed beside me. Your bed? Yes, mine. She had come to the room with my lunch to keep me company. You shouldn't make it easy for him. I really want to see him back on his knees. She whined, looking at me. Who needs an enemy when they have a sister like this? Are you sure that you are his sister? I asked, confused by her words. That I am, she said, shrugging her shoulders. Then why do you want him to suffer? I asked. Do you know what he did when he found out about me and Michael? She asked. Now fully turning towards me, I nodded my head. Lucas has been very good with knives since childhood. He has practiced it from a very young age. After taking over the Ashwin Empire, he didn't get much free time. So after finding out about us, he practiced with his knives using Michael as his target. Not only that, he asked Michael to jump off the top of our mansion to see if he is capable enough to save me from all the problems and if he can manage a crisis situation. My man even had to become his assistant for 1 week. And let me tell you, Being his assistant is the most unfortunate thing in the world, Angelina said with a sigh. I looked at her with wide eyes. She looked at me and closed my mouth with her index finger under my chin. I cleared my throat, feeling embarrassed. She chuckled. Are you not mad at me? I asked hesitantly, remembering how I fooled her the other day. She had told me that I had been passed out for a whole day, and even after that, she was talking to me normally, keeping me company, which made me feel guilty for using her. Why would I be mad at you? She asked with a small smile. I'm sorry for leaving the mall like that, I said. You don't have to be sorry for anything, sweetie. I know what you must have thought, and I'm not blaming you for it. But next time, take me along with you when you are planning to run away from here. Because I am also fed up with this crazy ass family and their protectiveness, she said, chuckling, lightening the mood, and started serving me the food. Oh, I forgot to give you something, she said suddenly. I looked at her as she placed a small gift box in my hand. I placed my plate on the bed and opened the gift wrapper, only to be surprised by seeing a box of vermilion inside it. I don't know if it's the same thing you needed, but I searched many shops and finally a lady gave me this. I heard her say, and I looked up to see her looking at me with hopeful eyes. Thank you so much. It's exactly what needed, I said and hugged her, grateful for her efforts. I'm glad that I could do something to help you, sweetie, she said, smiling after breaking the hug. So, what do you do? I asked as I placed the vermilion box safely on the beside table and again started eating the food. You? You want to know about me? She asked hesitantly, pointing her finger to herself. I nodded my head and chuckled. Looking at the cute face she made, I have an art gallery. So I collect various paintings from around the world and sell them at exhibitions, she said excitedly, and I listened to her without interrupting. Maybe we can become good friends, right? Maybe something good can happen in my life. So here our chapter number 14 ends, guys, and we will meet tomorrow with a brand new chapter. Till then, bye, share, subscribe, and like.